Hi, I'm Kevin Eikenberry, and I'm here to help you reach your potential as a leader and a human being. Welcome to Remarkable TV and the Remarkable Leadership Podcast. If you happen to be watching from YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future episodes. Today, I'm sharing with you the most important learning question. Are you ready? Let's get started. Now, I could give you a list of 20 great learning questions, but that would be a long video. So I'm giving you just one. It's my favorite, and it's an incredibly powerful one. Are you ready? Oh, no, that's not the question. Although it's a pretty good question. Here's the most important learning question. Now what? So why is now what such an important question? Well, the first thing it does, now what, implies that it starts with context. You've got something that you're looking at, and that's why it's important, because it forces us to say, okay, given what's happened, now what? And it prompts reflection. It makes us look back to say, what did we get? And now what are we going to do with it? Which leads to the next point, that it is forward-looking. Learning that is just sort of knowledge, while interesting and useful and helpful, isn't what we really need at work or in our life. We need to take action on something, which is the fourth thing about this question. It suggests action. Now what? What will I do? Knowing what I now know, knowing what I've now experienced, knowing what I've now seen, what will I do next? Now what? So when should you use it? Well, first, you should use it after a learning event. If you're listening to this on the podcast, you know that on the interview episodes of the podcast, I always ask this question at the end. And so you can use this after listening to a podcast, going to a workshop, any number of things. At the end, you say, okay, that was fine. Now what? After you read a book and then you ask yourself, now what will I do with what I learned? How will I apply it? You can ask the now what question after a failure or mistake. A little struggle, we talked about that last week, but now what? Here's where I am. Now what do I do next? And then lastly, certainly after a success. So we're going to ask it after a failure, we're going to ask it after success. What do we learn? What do we want to repeat? Now what? And then, so really I've said after a learning event, after reading a book, after success, after failure. You can ask this question anytime, which is why it's the most important learning question, because it forces us to look back and then focuses us forward. Now what? Let me close with today's remarkable reminder. Ask yourself the most important learning question today. Now what? Then act on your answer. Well, I said that one of the ways to use this question is when you read a book. I've got a suggestion for the next book you should read. You should order your copy of The Long Distance Leader, Revised Rules for Remarkable Remote and Hybrid Leadership, the second edition of our book, The Long Distance Leader. If you want to be a more effective leader of any team that is distributed some or all of the time, this is the book for you. You can get your copy at kevineikenberry.com/LDL or wherever you buy your books. I hope you'll do that. And I hope you'll be back with us next week for another episode of Remarkable TV and the Remarkable Leadership Podcast.